Hey, hey, are you a woman over 40? And have you thought, why is it so hard to lose weight? Back when you were in your 20s and your 30s, you could go on that little crash diet, whether it was a grapefruit diet or a rice cake diet or a cabbage soup diet. Ever tried any of those things and you found that losing weight was so much faster? Well, if you found that to be true, then I want you to stay tuned for my wow session today. I'm going to talk about this idea of why is it so hard to lose weight, especially for women over 40. So I want to, and as I thought about this, I'm thinking, I could really almost do a multi-part series on why it's difficult for women over 40 to lose weight. And so I'm going to break it down for you today, and I'm going to talk about some hormones and how they impact it, maybe in ways that you had not thought about. Hey, Sylvia, good to see you. She said fad diets suck, and you are so right. And we're not talking about any fad diets today, but I want you to understand what's happening in your body and why it's so hard. And then we may have to do a multi part series to talk about what do we even do about it. So I want you to understand the problem, and then we'll dive a little bit deeper. So I'm going to take it from the standpoint of hormones today. And for those of you who know, I'm Dr. Malika Woods, medical doctor, healthy lifestyle strategist at Dr. Woods Wellness, helping women achieve their menopause makeover so they can burn belly fat, have more energy, sleep great, and get their sexy back. That's what I do. If you find this to be helpful, give me a thumbs up, heart, subscribe. So let's get into it. So first hormone I want to talk about is estrogen. So as you start to get even into your 30s and your 40s, these hormone levels, first of all, they normally fluctuate every month for women who are having cycles or if you still have your period. So what starts to happen in your 40s is that the hormones levels start to decline, but progesterone declines further or faster than estrogen. And so some of you are in a situation called estrogen dominance. Ever heard of estrogen dominance? What that means is that you've got a lot more estrogen than progesterone. And estrogen is a fat storing hormone. So when you've got excess estrogen around, it's a fat storing hormone. And that's reason number one why it's harder to lose weight when you're in your 40s, because you may be becoming estrogen dominant. Another place where we're getting excess estrogen potentially, or estrogen like substances, is actually different toxins and things like that, plastics, etc. They actually emit some estrogen like substance. So that could also put us in an estrogen dominant state. Let's talk about progesterone. So in pregnancy, progestation, it's important for that. But for women in their 30s, 40s, and beyond, progesterone is what I call my secret weapon hormone. It's got two really great benefits. It has a natural sedative effect and it helps with the mood. Now, how it relates to why women over 40 have difficulty losing weight, if your progesterone is declining and you're not sleeping well, that's going to impact your ability to lose weight. You've all probably heard that like nighttime workers have a more difficult time losing weight because their sleep cycles are off. And so if your progesterone levels are off and you're having trouble sleeping, you're going to in turn have trouble not only losing weight, but think about so many important things are happening when you're asleep. Your body is repairing and regenerating, and that's not happening effectively when progesterone levels are declining. Testosterone. Now, this is a very important hormone. It's not just for men, it's important for women also. Again, 30s, 40s, 50s, and beyond, testosterone levels are declining. And so, how is it impacting your difficulty in losing weight? Because testosterone actually helps with your energy so that you can be more active during the day. Testosterone helps you build muscle mass so that you can burn fat more efficiently. How many times have you done a weight loss contest with a husband or a significant other guy and you find that they lose weight so much faster than you? Why is that? Because they have more muscle mass. So testosterone is another important hormone that may be making it difficult for you to lose weight after 40 because these levels are declining. Here's another hormone I want to talk about: cortisol. Cortisol is the stress hormone. Cortisol is also a fat storing hormone. So if you're in fight or flight, your body's going to want to hang on to all the fat that it can to reserve it for energy for later. So if you're under stress in your life for whatever reason, you want to think about strategies that you can use to get that back under control. So cortisol is another hormone that can be making it difficult for you to be able to lose weight, burn fat over 40, because when cortisol goes up, fat storage goes up. And then the last one, this is one that a lot of us are thinking about, when we go to the doctor and we say, I've been gaining weight, I've tried the same diets that I normally use, and it's not working. Can you check my thyroid? It must be my thyroid. And so the thyroid is, I call it the little small but mighty organ that sits right above this notch here. And the hormone produced by the thyroid is a very important driver for energy and metabolism. And so thyroid hormone levels also decrease, but I want you to understand that there's a lot of other factors that can start to affect your thyroid's ability to function. So back to my point about cortisol, that stress hormone, which is often increasing as we are under stress. Cortisol directly impacts thyroid by blocking conversion of inactive to active thyroid. So it's important to understand that your stress is going to impact your thyroid. Also, the thyroid gland, in order to function properly, in order for those hormones to function properly, you've got to have good metabolism happening in your liver and your gut. And for a lot of us, liver function, gut function, these things tend to slow down as we get older. So those are the hormones I want you to be understanding that are impacting your body's ability to burn fat over 40. Now we could go into what can we start to do about that. Let's go back and sort of readdress this. So I talked about estrogen number one. So again, if you're more estrogen dominant, estrogen is a fat storing hormone. How does your body get rid of estrogen? One of the ways that it gets rid of estrogen is actually through the stool. So making sure you have regular bowel movements is important. Also understand, as I mentioned, there are certain toxins and exposures like plastics, lotions, potions. These things have xenoestrogens or estrogen-like impact, which could be raising your body's estrogen-like response. Estrogen is fat storing, so reducing toxins, making sure your bowels are moving regularly. These are just little simple things that you can do to help your body process and metabolize estrogen. We talked about progesterone, the secret weapon hormone, because it helps with sleep and it helps with mood. And as it relates to a woman over 40 being able to lose weight, you need to be able to get in a good night's sleep. That is super important. One of the things that you can do to help your body with progesterone levels actually goes back to one of the other hormones I talked about, which is cortisol. So when your body's under a lot of stress, the cascade of hormones, it actually begins with cholesterol to progesterone to cortisol. And so if your body's under stress, it's driving the reaction to make more cortisol, and it's stealing away from progesterone and stealing away from testosterone. So I hope you can start to see the theme about how important stress is on these other hormones and how these other hormones impact your ability to lose weight. We talked about testosterone, which is super important. Again, stress will pull away from your body's ability to make testosterone. Some things that you can do to get the levels up is getting in regular exercise, doing strength training. Those types of things can help. We talked about cortisol, the stress hormone. What are some things that you can do to reduce stress? First of all, take a close look at your life and your schedule. Are you overscheduling? Are you overstretched? Are you overcommitted? Start reducing some of those things. Be okay with saying no. I think someone said there's a book called The Sacred No or something like that. Be okay with saying no. Take some time out for quiet time, meditation, prayer. These are things that I try to do myself, and I encourage my patients to do as well. Do some deep breathing exercises. It can be pretty profound how you can start to change your body's energy, and you can start to change and lower your heart rate, lower those stress levels with some very simple strategies that you can do right away. And then thyroid is the kicker that everybody is so concerned about. And oftentimes, you go to the doctor and then you get that, everything's normal. But we don't want to be normal. We want to be optimal, right? That's one of the things that I've learned that I share. Normal is not optimal, but optimal is best. So how do we get optimized like it relates to our thyroid? We need good gut function. We need good liver function. We also need to make sure like certain nutrients like zinc and selenium can help with that also. So this is just a brief overview of this idea of Why is it so hard for women to lose weight over 40? I've talked about it from the stance of hormones. And if you join me next week, I will continue with this and we'll take a different vantage point as it relates to why is it so difficult for women over 40 to lose weight. Now, I'm saying this as a teaser because yes, it is difficult, but it is not impossible. And there's different strategies that I've been able to help my clients with, and I'll be happy to share that in another episode. But again, I am Dr. Woods here at Dr. Woods Wellness. This is your wow session, a word on wellness. Why is it so hard for women to lose weight? I want you also to just keep the faith that it may be difficult, but it is possible. It is possible. So we'll talk about that a little bit more on part 2 of the series. You all have a fantastic day.